How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Patriot DIY channel. In this video, we're going to get a little bit organized here in the shop and build a drill charging station. Alright guys, now a while back I built this French cleat wall here in my shop, and aside from some clamp rack holders, until now it's been pretty bare, but I'm really in the process of getting my shop more organized, and a French cleat wall is a great way to get your tools up and off the workbench and mounted on the wall. So today we're going to be building a drill charging station. This serves a lot of purposes. It gives me somewhere to hang all of my battery powered tools, a place to mount the chargers, and then some shelves for all of our drill bits, drivers, extra batteries, and all of that stuff. Now this was a pretty fun project. I was able to build the entire thing with 3/4 inch scrap plywood that I had laying around, and I have made digital plans, so if you want to build this for yourself, I will have a link to those plans in the description below. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you guys step by step how I built this drill charging station. But first, guys, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that notification bell, and give us a thumbs up. Now let's get to work. First, we're going to cut down all of our components, starting over at the table saw and then taking it over to the miter saw to cut them down to length. We're going to start with one 2 1/4 inch piece and one 3 1/4 inch piece that are going to make up our tool hangers. So I'm going to measure and mark the location of the tool dividers, then apply a little wood glue and then some CA glue for an instant bond. Then I'm going to place my 3 1/4 inch piece in the center, then spray a little activator to hold it in place. And that makes the T shape that's going to make up our tool hanger. I'm going to repeat that process to make 5 more. Once I've done that, I can flip these over. Then I'm going to mark the center and fasten it together with screws. Now I need to mark the location of those tool hangers on my lower shelf. So I'm going to measure and mark those out. I'm using 3 1/4 inch spacing for these, which leaves a 1 3/4 inch gap for the tool handle. But you can use whatever spacing you need to fit your tools. And then I'm going to be attaching these in the same way by adding some wood glue and CA glue to tack them in place. Then I'll be flipping it over to secure it with screws. And with that, the tool hanging portion of our drill charging station is complete. Now I'm going to go back over to the table saw to cut down the sides of our charging station. Now I want my sides to have an angle cut into them, so I'm going to measure up 12.5 inches from the bottom corner and 6 inches from the top corner and draw a line between each mark. Then I'll use the track saw to make that cut on both of our sides. Now I'm ready to attach the sides, so I'm going to apply a little wood glue and then position it where I want it. Then I'll tack it in place with brad nails and then countersink and secure it with screws. And I'm going to do that for both sides. Now I want to create a little cubby in this, so I'm going to cut some 4-inch spacers and put those in place, and then I'll drop in my middle shelf, line everything up, and then again I'll secure that with brad nails and screws. Now I want to create an angled panel that my drill chargers are going to be mounted to. So I'm going to bevel one edge of this panel so that when I put it in place, it sits at an angle. This is going to be set about 3¼ inches from the front of our charging station. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that line and put it in place so that that bevel sits flat on the shelf below. Then I'm going to measure and mark the location for my screws to secure this in place. Put down a little wood glue and put my panel back in place. Then I'll clamp everything to hold it in place while I secure it with brad nails. I'm also going to have a top shelf on this charging station, so I'm going to measure and mark down 2½ inches from the top. Then I'll put that shelf in place, leaving a gap between the shelf and our angled panel so that we can feed power cords through. Once I've got it where I want it, I'll go ahead and fasten it in place. You can see that we've created a little hidden space behind this angled panel for all of our power cords. But now I need a hole in the side to run that power cord through. So I'm going to use an 1¼ Forstner bit to drill that hole into both sides. Now I need to put on my back panels. So with the assembly face down on the workbench, I'm going to apply some wood glue to the back of each of these pieces and then drop my back panel in place. Then I tack it down with brad nails and secure it with screws. And I'll follow that same process for the top backer panel. Now our drill charging station is done, but now I need a way to hang it on the wall. So I'm going to be creating a couple of French cleats here. To do that, I'm going to set my table saw blade to 45 degrees and then run this through, creating a French cleat. I'm going to put my first one at the top, so I'll apply a generous amount of wood glue, clamp it in place, and then secure it with brad nails and screws. And when you're putting your fasteners in here, you want to be careful to make sure you're not putting those fasteners through the angled part of your French cleat. Now this charging station is going to be pretty heavy once it's all loaded down, so I'm going to add a second French cleat here at the bottom. Now I'm ready to mount my chargers. So most of these chargers are going to have mounting holes on the back. And I found the easiest way to attach those is to use some painter's tape to make a template for transferring those holes over to your workpiece. Then drive in your screws and drop the charger in place. Now for chargers that don't have those mounting holes, I've decided to use some heavy duty Velcro. So I'm going to put on that Velcro and then put this in place. And then I will drive in a few screws above and below it to make sure it doesn't shift around. Then I'm just going to feed those cords through the gap at the top and into the back of our charging station. Only thing left to do now is mount our power strip and secure all of our power cords. And our charging station is done, so let's go ahead and get this thing put up on the French cleat wall and fill it with tools. And we are done. This has made my life much more organized, and I'm really happy with the results. All right, guys, that's it for how to build your drill charging station. Now, until now, all of this stuff has just been sitting out on tops of workbenches and in drawers and things like that. And so this was a great way to get everything organized and up and out of the way, but still very accessible when I need to get to it. The other great thing about it being mounted to a French cleat wall is that it's mobile. I can move this around to anywhere I want to at any time. I'm really glad I was finally able to get to this project, and I was able to build the whole thing with scrap plywood that I had laying around. And don't forget, guys, I have made digital plans on how to build this. If you want to build one for yourself, I'll have a link to those in the description below. And it's pretty customizable. You can make this bigger, smaller. You can adjust the size of the tool slots to fit your needs. So make sure you guys check that out. If you have any questions at all, make sure you let us know in the comment section below. And as always, I will have links to all the tools we use to build this in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and keep that shop organized.